Hi, welcome back. I'm talking about origins, and this has to do with the origins of Christianity. We're going to look at the Gospel of John, which means good news of John. And this book was the last gospel to be written out of the four gospels that are now included in the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's a very different gospel than Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Scholars call Matthew, Mark, and Luke, those gospels, synoptic gospels, meaning same view. This is something completely different. It's much more symbolic. It has information that the other gospels don't have in them, even though they were written prior to this one. This one was written about Common Era 85, and you'll see that CA period is an abbreviation for the word circa. Circa is a nice Latin word that means near. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when things were written down, but we can focus it in. For example, with Bible, Old Testament, it started getting written down more than 1,000 years after Judaism started. It started getting written down 3,000 years ago and wasn't completed until the 1st century. Same thing with Christianity, which built on that tradition, started a new religion. It wasn't written down until the 1st century. Most of what Christians call New Testament was written down before the Gospels themselves were written down by Paul, or as he was originally called, Saul of Tarsus. But in this, we have a new Genesis story, a new beginnings story. Instead of God separating light from dark, what we have is a theogony. Where did the God come from? So theogony. And it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So we've got Word. I'll capitalize it. It's not in the text, but okay, and the term in Latin is logos, which means word. It means intent. It's where we get the word logic from. So imagine this if I replaced it. In the beginning was logic, and the logic was with God, and the logic was God. He was in, I don't mean to offend, but you can try things on that way to see if it speaks to you more. He was in the beginning with God. Everything came through him, and without him, not one thing came about. So I've read one book where the word instead is called the verb. Do you remember the passages? Let there be light. Let there be. Let there be. That the God had to speak. And in the Gospel according to John, Jesus is the speaker. The power that the God created through. What came about him was life, and the life was the light of mankind. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not understand it. So there's the first few verses of the Gospel according to John, where Jesus is the light. Jesus is the action by God. Now, two of the three monotheistic religions that we have right now look at Christianity as polytheistic because of the Trinity: Father, Son, Holy Ghost. And it's true that when you come from a monotheistic religion, that seems like there are three. but that's 1, 3 and 1. Is that logical? No. But belief itself, finding meaning, does not have to be logical. It's how people comfort themselves. It's how we as humans can answer these questions. Why am I here? Who am I? Where am I going? I thank you for listening. I hope you get the good word. I'm not a Christian, but I mean the good word as being light. I guess I should say this right here when I say that I'm not a Christian. I'm not a believer, except for in humanity. Because why? I am a humanist. I believe in humans. And I love what humans have created in order to order our world, because our world is chaos. If you lived through 2020, which obviously you did or you wouldn't be listening to me, that was a very chaotic year. Just one year that was so chaotic. And we want to make connections. We want to make it make sense. But how can we make sense of our loved ones being sick or dying, or family members and friends losing their jobs? For me, there's no way of making sense of that except for to say it was a catastrophe. And I'm hoping that 2021 will be much better. And that as people, we can be light bearers. Thank you so much.